Right. So today we're going to look at detection history, the first part to start our occupancy models. What are detection histories? We're going to look at into detail. So on paper, the detection history looks like this. Let's say there's a species that we are interested to study and we want to estimate its site occupancy and detection probability. Let's say it's species 1 or species A. And after designing our study, we have identified 20 sites where we're going to assess its site occupancy and run our occupancy models and look at what is the site occupancy parameter and what is the detection probability of that species given that the species is present. Right. So on paper, our detection histories will look like this. This is the detection history for one species. So we've chosen 20 sites. And for each of the site, we're going to make 5 visits. That means we're going to visit the same sites 5 times. This could be across seasons, across years. But let's say for this example, we're going to make it very simplistic. 20 sites within one season. We're going to make 5 visits, right? So, and you see, all the data is 1 or 0 or a dot. So 0 is when in site 1 on our first visit, we did not encounter the species. So we put a 0, right? In visit 2, we did encounter the species. So we've put 1. So 1 is when we detect the species. 0 is when we did not detect that species. And bear in mind, I'm using the terms detection and non-detection. So it's not a case of presence or absence, but actually the case of detection and non-detection. So non-detection does not mean that the species is not present. It only means that we have not detected it or encountered it. And that's why we run the occupancy modeling framework, where we have multiple visits to actually estimate the site occupancy. Okay. Similarly, in visit on the third visit, we did not detect a species. On the fourth visit, we did. On the fifth visit, we also detected the species. This is for site 1. And for each of the sites, we have the detection history. We put 0 or 1. We put 0 when the species was not detected in that specific visit in that specific site, and 1 when it was detected, right? The other thing you're going to see is this dot cells or this blank cells. This is when the site visit did not happen. So for example, in site 4, second visit, the team was not able to visit that site on that day. Something went wrong. Maybe someone was sick. Maybe there were some weather constraints, so the team could not visit that site. Now, in occupancy modeling framework, this is a very good flexibility that we get, that we can incorporate our missing replicates also into our models, right? So this is a missing replicate, but we do not have to hide it or some way manage the data. We don't need to manage it. We don't need to hide it. There is an option to actually identify those sites as missing replicates, and the model will interpret it accordingly. So we can go into detail of what it looks like, but for now, this is it. So the values are 0, 1, or dot, which means a missing replicate or a missed replicate. The third thing we see is elevation, and this is the site covariates. So when we go for our site surveys, we can collect loads of data, right? We can collect site parameters, we can collect a lot of covariates. So in this example, we've only taken elevation. So it's elevation for each of the sites. This is so we see this, there's variance in the elevation. So later on, what we can do in our occupancy models is also look at which of the parameters or which of the site covariates are affecting our site occupancy, which is the psi value that we will get, and our p value, which is the detection probability. Okay. And this is it. This is all we need. The first, we need the different sites. We need the number of visits. We need the detection or the non-detection or the misreplicate, and we need the covariates to run the model. In the next video, in the next part, we're going to actually load this data into the presence software, run very, very basic models to understand how we get the results, how we estimate the psi value, the site occupancy, and the p value, the detection probability, and how this very covariate is affecting our site occupancy and detection probability. Thank you.